This is Reliving the Extreme, an ECW podcast. Nate Maxon here, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Chad Austin.
What up?
And this week we are reviewing the episode of ECW from March the 5th, 1996.
We ain't reviewing nothing. We're just talking about Sabu and Scorpio.
Yeah, pretty much. This is a one-match show. Chad, you haven't been able to, we had all kind of miscommunications and technological things and shit going on the past couple of weeks, and Chad was unable to be here, but so I haven't got to ask you yet, I guess, just to kill a little time here. You haven't been on the show since CM Punk made his move, and I know you're a Punk guy, so I just wanted your opinion on that. What do you think of CM Punk back in the WWE?
I'm glad. I'm happy for him, man. I mean,
and he seems happier. Like,
dude,
I've
made that comment a couple times that he seems like he's having a good time for a change. And you know, he hardly ever saw him smile before. Now he's happy to be there, and he's it's a good environment for him. Sounds like it's less stress. Yeah, I'm happy for him. What do you guys think?
Oh, go ahead, Aaron. You go ahead.
I was just going to say that it is a different environment because this, it's not so much Vince anymore. And then also, Sometimes you got to go somewhere else to realize where you're at is better than what you thought it was. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, but it might not be Vince, but it's still his doofus son-in-law.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, yeah, but like I'm saying, like he had to go somewhere else to realize, hey, I thought this place was bad, but compared to others, like at least it's professionally ran and they know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so that's how I look at it.
I don't know what the hell's going on with AEW, man. My buddy that works there, man, he's not telling me anything. He's just happy that he still has a job. You know what I mean? He's like, dude, I don't know what's going on here. You know, it's like chaos backstage and nobody knows what the hell's going on. Like nobody knows who's in charge of anything. You know what I mean? Tony Khan's half the time not even there, he says. So I don't know what's going on. So he's just happy he has a job.
Yeah, well, and that's one of those things where it's like, and I'll speak on Punk in a second, but it's the whole thing of, I know that there are people that are like older guys in the business or old school fans that kind of, I don't know why, but they kind of malign the WWE for being what it is. But at the end of the day, it's like Scott Hall said, it's one of my favorite lines of all time. Everybody always wants to call it the wrestling business until you start treating it like a business. Yeah. And WWE is the industry leader. They're the NFL of wrestling, whether people like their product or not. And it's, like you said, it's like you can go there and maybe you may not like your push. Maybe you may not like everybody you work with, but are you anywhere you work in any profession, you're not going to like everybody you work with.
Yeah, but do you like going to the mailbox every 2 weeks?
Yeah, exactly. It's a professionally run fucking company. And even more so now because it's not even run by the people that run the WWE. I mean, I know Triple H and Nick Khan are running the WWE part of it, but as part of a bigger umbrella, you have even more confidence in your company that it's going to exist in 2 years, that your checks are going to clear. You're going to go to work and it's going to be a professional environment. Like you said, Chad, who knows what the fuck's going on backstage at AEW? It sounds like they're chasing their tail every week.
Yeah, and them people posting them pictures, man, of them empty arenas. Oh, that is, oof. That is some shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's. I don't know. Too. If you can't, that's the other thing too. Like I looked at that and I'm like, if you can't sell out a 10,000 seat arena,
don't book
or
one.
Even fill it to even fill it to half capacity. Don't book it.
But they're not even running really 10,000 seat arenas. They're more or less running in the 5,000 capacity, and they can't even get half of that. I mean, it is sad when people. I really don't like looking at that stuff when people post them pictures and all, but it does make me kind of chuckle to be like the way they kind of like run their production and make it sound like it's the big leagues and all this other stuff. And you're like, well, for who?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Buckaroos?
if you think about, you have sometimes you have to take the other strategy. It's like the early days of Raw, like 94, 95. Vince knew business was in the shitter. At that point, the WWF wasn't even selling out the fucking Garden, which is pathetic. But what he did with Raw is he essentially was like, well, you know what? Fine then. We're just going to be in like they'd go to that fucking Fernwood Resort. They'd go to that little place in Utica. It was just like, if you're not gonna be able to sell out the arena, go to a smaller arena, and the crowd that's there is gonna love being there, and they're gonna sound good on TV. It doesn't matter that it's small; the place is gonna look full,
and you're not gonna see empty seats.
Yeah,
like they said, even when back in the day when they do like poster shoots and shit, like Hogan like ripping the shirt open. With the crowd in the background, if there was empty seats, they'd Photoshop fans like into the seats because he didn't even want a picture of an empty seat. Like if somebody went up to take a shit or something, they just replace him with somebody.
They just draw people in there like an episode of Seinfeld with the picture. when he photoshopped his boss out of it, the dude just drew a picture of a guy. They just have cartoon characters in the seats. That's what it seems like, man. It's pretty sad, dude, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on Punk. Like, to me, it was like that last little run he had when he had left AEW and then when he came back, God, bags under his eyes. He had like a little pot belly going. He just looked terrible. You could tell he was just so unhappy. And then he shows up on Raw and he looks so fresh, so clean, looking good, looking happy. I mean, yeah, I don't know. And to me, at his age, at this point in his career, people, the people that want to be haters are like, oh, give it 6 months, he'll be causing problems again. I think at this point, after leaving, going through the AEW shit and coming back, and with maybe 3 years left on his career and a 3-year contract, I say he's probably going to be on his best fucking behavior. He knows.
Probably.
He's, the checks are going to clear. I got a nice contract. Me and Triple H made up, or as well as we can. Might as well just ride it out for a few years and do what they ask you to do, and have a nice bank.
Did you read about the NXT stuff?
No.
Mm-mm.
Like he showed up at the training facilities or whatever because he wanted to check it out, and like publicly said, like that. Once Sean's done doing this, he's like, I'd love to do what he's doing. Like,
he'll always, when he's done full time in the ring, they'll find something for him as long as he wants to stay.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. So like, he's already stating long-term plans of like, I went where I went, I'm back now, and this is where I'm gonna be. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever heard him say anything about long-term plans of his career? Like, I'm like planting stakes here. This is where I'm going to be. Like he's
hell,
he's realizing the mistake he made, and now he's like, this is where I need to be. This is
not only did he never talk about long-term plans. There was some times where he wouldn't even finish the show, and he'd be gone. You know what I mean? He wouldn't even stay in the full 3 hours or whatever or anything. He's just, I'm out of here. Like, yeah, forget about long-term.
Yeah, definitely.
He seems like he's happy.
I definitely think it's like you said, Aaron. I think he probably, he got it out of his system. And I bet he walked into Survivor Series or Monday Night Raw after Survivor Series and was, oh, shit, what was I thinking? I don't know. But God bless him. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's back.
Did you see that meme where he's like, looking off to like he's got like a smirk on his face and his face is like looking off to the side and he's like, huh, they do have fans on the opposite side of the hard cam.
All right. Yeah. I mean, they're making money, man. They're doing something right.
And I don't want to make this an AEW hate session either, because it hasn't always been a product that I've thoroughly enjoyed. But I always want there to be options for the guys to work. I don't want it to fail. I just think that what they're doing is leading them to failure. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, guys are getting hurt way too often for, because, there's no nobody to pull the reins back for, you know what I mean? They can just do whatever the hell they want, whether it's good for them or not good for them. They're just killing themselves. And now you're going to lose Kenny for about a year, maybe even longer. I mean, so that's your one of your number one guys gone right there. Jericho's not going to be on top or be around all the time.
Actually, Jericho will probably be back in WWE within the next year and a half.
Yeah, probably when he finishes out his career like everybody else does. Yeah, it just seems like it's a shit show over there, man. It's disappointing, honestly, because I want there to be more options. I like I like options. That's good.
The only smart thing I've heard them talk about recently is the fact that they've had Daniel Bryan helping out, or Bryan Danielson, whatever you call him, helping out more. Like he's finally maybe taking advice from an actual guy that knows the wrestling business and a guy that people respect. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I heard that too.
It doesn't make any sense to me because like they'll have guys like, well, Arn's gone now. They'll have like Jake Roberts or whoever managing these guys but having no creative input, but then you're gonna fucking hire Orange Cassidy as an agent. It's like, why is Orange Cassidy telling people how to put together a match, and you got fucking Jake Roberts and Arn Anderson over there doing jack shit? Doesn't make any sense to me. Or Dean Malenko. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? But whatever. He said it's not an AEW.
Yeah, it's a circus. Yeah, it's a circus over there.
Like I said, I'm hoping they can turn it around because, like we were saying, their options are better for the workers, and it's good to have competition. WWE is always at its best when it has competition, and pretty much anybody is when you have someone to compete with. What'll really blow my mind is if at some point in the next couple of years, AEW goes the way of the dodo and fucking Impact is still in business after all these years. You cannot kill Impact, man. All these other promotions just come and go. Impact is still plugging along.
Aren't they going to like some subsidiary, like subdivision of that Endeavor company though?
Endeavor is putting them. Yes, Endeavor's putting them on their streaming platform. Yeah,
I still can't. I can't get Impact. I try every single week. I spend about 45 minutes upstairs trying to figure out how to watch it.
I think you're eventually going to be able to. I think you're eventually going to find it on Peacock because I think they're one step closer to getting for getting TKO to buy them. Like, hey,
yeah, right. I still got Peacock.
We're over here.
I almost didn't know how I was even going to do the show with you guys tonight because for the last couple of days I didn't have Wi-Fi, and so I was just like, luckily, I mean, it just came on like today. And it was odd because I haven't talked to anybody in like the last day and a half because I haven't had no reception, no Wi-Fi. And then all of a sudden, out of my blue, my mom just calls me tonight. And I'm like, oh my God, the phone rang. Because I was telling her, I was like, dude, I got to do a show tonight. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do it because I didn't think I was going to be able to get, to log on. But sure enough, man, it came through at perfect timing.
Well, like I said,
on it.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say last thing. I know Impact's become TNA again. The reason they're still around, honestly, is they decided a long, long time ago that you can't beat the WWE. So guess what? We're not even gonna try to. No. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're never gonna be able to compete with them. So let's just cater to the audience that likes us and stick with them and just count the money that's in our little pie. You know what I mean? Like let's not try to make the pie bigger. Let's just eat from the trough we got. You know what I mean? And
what I find funny? I find is Bubba Ray is on Busted Open like pretty much 4 days a week, right? He never puts over TNA. and like he works there. Like he never talks about it. Like they pretty much cover every wrestling show of the week. There's pretty much something going every week. I mean, every night of the week. And the next day on Busted Open, they'll talk about the show the night before. Never talk about Impact at all. It's amazing. They talk about the independents more than they do about Impact.
Dreamer's on there too, and he doesn't talk about Impact either.
No, Dreamer talks about it more than Bubba does. And that's not even saying much. I don't even know who's on Impact other than Bubba. Like, who are the top guys there?
I have not watched Impact in 10 years. I have no idea. I think the last time honestly, the last time I watched any of it, like with any consistency, well, I guess technically I did watch a little bit of it during the pandemic, but watching it with any consistency, I haven't watched it since like Bischoff and Hogan and all them were there. The Aces and Eights stuff.
Saban and Shelley are still there. Eric Young, Josh.
Same people that were
guy.
there, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, they got, like I said, they got their little crew. They got the guys they like, and they're like, okay, we're gonna be over here doing our thing. We don't want to fuck with you, Vince, or like we don't want to fuck with the WWE. Whatever, we'll just do our thing and leave us alone. And that's what they do. And that's why I'm not saying they're the greatest company in the world or anything like that, but like I said, they don't have their faults. But I think that's a smart business model of let's not even try to compete with them. Let's just keep the people that like us happy, and that's what.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it. I never, and right now I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to watch Ring of Honor. What is that on?
I have no idea.
Yeah, is it even on?
I thought
it's on Fight.
Oh, for Christ's sake! So it's not on. So I got to download an app to even pretend to watch Ring of Honor. I would have loved for them to just to take They got what? AEW's got 3 shows.
Yeah,
Dynamite.
Yeah, instead of having Dark Elevation, the Impact, or whatever they fucking call it, just make it Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought they were going to do. Well, who knows? They still might do it, but I mean, by then it'll be too late. Nobody's going to care anyway. I don't know anybody that's in Ring of Honor.
And then,
they might not even have a network. They might not even have a network in a year.
Well, I was going to say, and then when WWE eventually buys AEW, then they'll be able to buy all of the Ring of Honor shit without ever even having to buy Ring of Honor. Tony Khan did the work for them.
Yep. And when everything gets liquidated, yeah, that's going to be something, dude. You know what's going to be a fire sale probably.
Who buy it for cheaper than they bought WCW?
Oh my god! Like we could buy it. We should put our pennies together and fucking make an offer. We could run Ring of Honor.
Well,
I'm wearing my Ring of Honor jacket right now, honestly.
Speaking of now defunct wrestling promotions, the ECW episode we're discussing this week, March 5th, 1996. Again, folks, I wanted to do a little bit of talk about something else before we started in on this, and it's not that this is a bad episode. It's not that this is a bad match, but it's a one-match episode of the show. So we start off the episode with a Brian Pillman segment. It's one of the classic ECW Brian Pillman segments. It's Brian Pillman with the big pencil.
He's wrestling the pencil. He's always got to. What do you say? What was his line? He's always in a fight with the pencil or something.
Yeah.
That was pretty classic.
Talking about Booker Man.
Yeah, Pillman, man. I wasn't there for Pillman at all. So I never got a chance to meet him. I don't believe anyway. I was thinking like, I wonder if I met him, and I don't recall ever meeting him.
I'm sure you probably would have remembered meeting him.
Exactly, because I know he would have been a handful in the locker room as much as he is on the out in the ring. So I'm sure he would have been a handful backstage as well.
I only ever saw
that he was, and the pencil that he was fighting was actually bigger than the actual pencil of WCW at the time, Kevin Sullivan.
Right. That was a pretty big pencil, though.
Much taller.
I only saw Pillman wrestle. I only saw Pillman live in person one time. I saw him wrestle. Aaron and I actually went. We saw him wrestle. Crazy enough, we saw him wrestle at the Toledo Sports Arena in Toledo, Ohio, and 3 days later, he died.
You killed him?
Yeah, I guess so. Coming to Toledo killed Brian Pillman. Sorry, Mr. Pillman.
You figured there's nowhere else to go?
But yeah, he was he wrestled on a house show. I think he wrestled Goldust on the house show we went to. And then, 3 days later was the, well, I guess, technically 4 days later was the No Mercy pay-per-view or whatever it was. Which one was it? Was it Hell in a Cell? Anyway. No,
how did he die? Do you know?
He OD'd, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Classic drug related.
No, he didn't have. They thought it was. He had a heart attack.
So, like,
gas, probably, right?
Yeah, the enlarged heart thing,
probably from the gas.
Yeah, but like I said, it was kind of like an Eddie Guerrero type situation where at the time he didn't really have anything in his system. It was just the abuse that he did to it. It just happened,
Yeah, that you know what? It's funny that you talk about that because that's kind of what happened to Renee. Renee had been sober for 7 years, but the 35 years of damage that she did to herself did the damage.
Right. Eventually, once the damage is done, there's no reversing it. You can live a little longer than you might have, but you've already shortened your life, unfortunately. But yeah, so the Pillman thing with the pencil, of course, classic segment. Anybody that's ever watched ECW or seen any documentaries about ECW has probably seen this segment. Joey introduces the show. He talks to us about the Big Ass Extreme Bash coming up. And then we get to see the shit we saw from last week, which I know, Chad, you weren't here, but the stuff with Douglas was fine. But then when they get to Tommy Dreamer, I told Aaron it is like the worst community theater acting from Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, Dreamer's sad. I can't even give another description of a word other than just sad. Like he's
like Nate said,
he don't seem like he's alive. God.
That's like Nate said. Shane's like saying, like, I need to protect Beulah. Tommy wants me to protect Beulah and the baby, but Tommy keeps calling it his kid. It's like it's not even born yet. Like like stop calling it a kid.
Say baby. Say baby.
It's a baby.
It's an egg.
It's more sympathetic if you say baby.
Yeah, he might as well just be saying, you got to protect Beulah and the fetus,
the embryo. Yeah, Dreamer's just, I mean, all over the place, sad, and it makes me mad too because I mean, like as much as he's done in the business, I'm like, how does this guy get away with this? You know what I mean? Doing so much with nothing, with so little. He's not entertaining. He's not in any shape. You know what I mean? Like his promos are terrible, and he's the worst on Busted Open. God, I hate when he's on.
I've always been like, I don't understand why that guy was so over with that crowd. I just never got the Tommy Dreamer thing, but we have many more years of watching him here in ECW as we go through the episodes.
Unfortunately.
We then, after that, we get footage of Sandman caning some jobbers in the ring. More footage from CyberSlam, and then we go into the match that is featured on this week's episode, and it is for the ECW World Television title. It is Too Cold Scorpio versus Sabu, and it's a really good fucking match.
Yeah, decent amount of time too. They gave it time.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of notes on it. So I just kind of had a couple questions. Like, either one of you can answer or both of you can answer it.
Is one of the questions what happened to the rest of Scorpio's trunks? Because when he wears them blowout tights, like the ones he had on in that match, he used to have a pair of one underneath of it that you wouldn't see his legs or anything. And I'm like, he never wore them in like ECW. Like, whatever happened to the rest of your trunks, dude? Sold them probably.
But no, the question I had is do you guys think Sabu in this form, if he would have went to like not WCW because he did there for a little bit, but like this form of Sabu, do you think he would have worked in WWF?
If they would have let him do his shit, that's probably the biggest problem, right? Letting him like do all that stuff. I can't see him wrestling like Dean Malenko. You know what I mean? A Dean Malenko style.
That's what I was going to say is, okay, so he goes, if he goes to the WWF, it's 1996. So sure, we're moving away from the cartoony shit. We're headed toward the Attitude Era. But as far as Sabu's style goes, okay, so you get a good feud with Sabu and Mankind, right? Because Cactus is there at that point.
Right.
Who else? Who else is going to work? Who else on the WWF roster at that time is going to work his style with him, I guess? And I'm not poo-pooing your question, Aaron. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Right.
Other than just to look at the roster and go, who works with working with Sabu in the WWF at that time? You know?
And another problem is at this time, around this time, ECW had a major drug problem in the locker room. You know, pretty much everybody. I mean, not me, you know what I mean? But, you know, pretty much everybody else did. So, I mean, that would have been another issue. If, you know, him trying to, you know, pass wellness policies and shit. That would have been an issue. But I mean, I'll let Aaron answer your question. But yeah, I don't know anybody that would have worked that would even want to, you know?
I only know two guys that I think would have been willing to do it and actually made it work. I think it would have been Brett and Taker. I think Brett would have been willing to work with Sabu.
Think Taker would have?
Maybe not like the barbed wire stuff or whatever, but like going through a table or doing like a chair thing. Or I think Brett would have done it. I think Taker would have been down for it.
I'd love to see him and Taker. Good Lord.
I bet you that would be ugly. I guess you could say Taker because Taker did work with Foley a lot, and it worked well.
Hey, but it was basically Foley. It was Foley doing all the big bumps.
Right.
That would have had to been Sabu doing all the big bumps. Yeah, they weren't going to break tables and, you know, and do all that stuff. I mean, that just wasn't going to happen. So that version of Sabu would have just been like a total waste. I couldn't even see anybody being interested in him. You know, how do you tell him that? You know what I'm saying? We have interest in bringing you in, but hey, you can't do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We have a great gimmick, pal. We call it the Sultan.
Yeah, there you go. Managed by the Iron Sheik.
You're gonna be with the Iron Sheik and Bob Backlund.
We couldn't get Eddie Farhat, your uncle, but we got you another Sheik.
That's the best thing about Backlund in that era. He like when he was doing the shit with Iron Sheik and the Sultan, he'd have the little clip-on sunglasses things that you clip on your glasses.
Right.
Fucking classic.
And they were never down.
No, he didn't put them down.
Always up.
Bob Backlund.
I'll never forget working that show with Backlund. Deal. That show that I worked with Backlund on it, and he was something else, man. I really thought he had the hots for me. the way he was talking to me and stuff, and I was just like, dude, are you fishing for something? Because, you know, I mean, put his arm around me and stuff, and like, I don't know about this, Mr. Backlund. I thought you were, you know, I know you were like a little goofy and all, but I didn't think you were that goofy.
Yeah, he's my experience with him is just that's just who he is. Because when I met him at a signing, I had him sign a magazine for me that had him and Patera on the cover when they were working together, and he Aaron had to kind of pull me away from Backlund. Backlund wouldn't let me go. He was just kept talking and talking and talking. Never met the fucking guy in my life.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was with me. I'm like, I'm trying to get dressed to leave, and he's just like, I think he wanted me to ride with him. I'm like, there's no chance, dude. Because I forgot who I was riding with, but I just knew there wasn't going to be a chance that I was riding anywhere with Mr. Backlund. I don't know where I would have ended up at. That'd been something else. Mr. fucking Backlund, dude. Go fucking figure.
He'd have had you running the steps at some empty football arena somewhere.
In that using that wheel thing.
Yeah.
I've tried that, dude. I couldn't do one. That thing is hard as shit to do, man.
I like the Kevin Nash story about how he thought Backlund was fucking some broad all night long and next door in the hotel.
Just doing sit-ups off the bed.
He was doing sit-ups and fucking Hindu squats on the bed. He wasn't banging anybody. He was just exercising all night.
You gotta love Mr. Backlund, man.
Yeah, Nash was like, I looked at this thing like, who is in that room? God damn, they're getting it. And then he was like, Bob Backlund.
I would love to see Nash's face when he found out that it was Backlund. That would have been priceless, right? Classic.
And then the other question I had is Sabu the first guy that, because he's the first guy that I remember doing it, that would sell the impact of the move on that he did to somebody on himself,
like his own stuff?
Yeah,
pretty much.
I don't remember anybody else doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, yeah, I don't really recall anybody, at least to that degree, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you, a lot of guys, they did a big spot.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if every once in a while, maybe like, Dynamite would sell himself a little bit if he did a sick headbutt or something. But yeah, to constantly do it as part of your repertoire, I think Sabu was the first. Because yeah, Sabu, when a Sabu does a big move, he sells just as much as his opponent does. He Ricky Morton's himself.
He rolls around the ring and shit, clutching himself. Like, he'd be like, "Why are you doing all this then?" You hurt. Like, you figure he would do one of them big spots, like in the corner, where he jumps off the chair into the corner and he hurts himself. Why wouldn't the guy just fall on top of him and pin him? Like, he pretty much beat himself. Yeah, he's a character too, Sabu. That was just a weird. That was a weird era, man. In ECW. I'm glad I was
you're right, though, Aaron. I think he's the one. He's the one that he's the one that did that. I don't think anybody else did to that extent. Like I said, you watch, like I said, Dynamite, or once in a while Benoit. Benoit would do his headbutt or some sharp, hard move, and he'd kind of sell that he had hurt himself also, but not near the level that Sabu did.
Yeah, correct. Benoit would, yeah, definitely, especially the headbutts.
Mm-hmm.
He'd shake his head. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could totally see that too. But it was a good match, man. I mean, it gave him time.
Yeah, and I don't know on the TV show. I mean, this match went to a 30-minute draw. On the TV show, they gave it at least 19 to 21 minutes. So they showed us most of the match.
Yeah, because I remember did you hear when they announced that it was 15 minutes left?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, they've been going that long?
And that's the only gripe I have.
1 fall 30 or what?
Yeah. And that's the only gripe I have with it, because especially in front of an audience like that, when you have the announce guy start saying how much time is left in the match, then everybody knows. Like, okay.
Dude, I was so waiting to hear the groan.
Oh, there was a groan.
Was there? I didn't notice it. Yeah, I was so waiting to hear. Oh.
There was especially a groan. It wasn't so much at the 15-minute, but when that announcer went, there's 5 minutes left in the match. That crowd went, oh. And then if you notice, right? They were they were still into it, but they weren't as into it because they were like, oh, you just fucking telegraphed it. You know what I mean?
It's
like, okay. Yeah, now we fucking know there ain't gonna be a change. There isn't gonna be a fuck finish. It's just gonna be a fucking time limit draw. So okay. Whatever. There's nothing wrestling fans in that fucking time frame hated more. Fucking time limit draw or a double disqualification. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and especially that crowd, dude, man. God, dude.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why they did it that way. You know what I mean? What they expected. I mean, but they tore the house down pretty much. So I mean, it could have been worse, honestly. You know what I mean? The match could have been shitty, and then they still went to a draw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least they did some shit.
I think they would have got a better reaction at the end of the match from the crowd if they would have just not told people how much time was left in the match and just let the bell ring and then be like, oh, time limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
People aren't paying attention and being like, oh, this thing's been going for 30 minutes. They're engrossed in it. You know what I mean? When you start telegraphing it, and then people are just like, well, all right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fucking time limit draw.
Yep, that's pretty much how it goes there, especially with them people, man. You know, we start, like you said, Aaron, telegraphing it. Oh, my God. You can just, you know, like I said, feel the rumble coming. Oh, no. They're gonna push this all the way to the end. Like, I would have loved to see like a finish come out of nowhere, but you know, last 30 seconds, you know, that never happens, does it? Not that I recall off the top of my head, anyway. But I guess they had to bring it back, right?
Yeah, and you're right. That would be cool, though. Yeah, actually, that would be fun. Make the crowd think it's going to go to a time limit draw, and then, like you said, Chad, like when they're counting down, like 30 seconds left, and it's like 1, 2, 3. Holy shit!
The crowd would have not expected it, for one, especially once you start stooging it off like that.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing. Actually, I have written down, one of my notes is something about the time limit thing. Is the match is fantastic. There's not a dead spot in the match. Of course, like I said, they probably edited about 9 minutes out of it, so maybe there was
the only dead
spot or something.
The only dead spot in the match is when Sabu goes to that table and Joey Styles is like, "Oh my God, he's dead."
Yeah, oh my God, he's dead.
That table went busted apart, didn't it?
Yeah.
God damn, a table shattered. I had never seen a table break like that. Like, it wasn't a clean break. It was all like ragged and, you know what I mean, jagged and stuff like that. I was like, damn, boo. How'd you do that shit? That probably hurt.
It's kind of like that the Mind Games match between Shawn Michaels and Foley, when Foley, like, I've never seen anybody just go like through the center of the table and just put like a hole in the center of the table, but that's what Foley does at that Mind Games show. But no, what I wrote,
he was like that scene in Money Pit where they fall through the floor and get stuck in the rug.
Good Lord.
But yeah, I wrote down the only thing that seemed clunky to me in the match was when they start doing the time limit countdown thing. Like they say, you know, there's 5 minutes left, there's 4 minutes left. Scorpio, I think, made it, and I'm not a worker, so I don't like to shit on anybody's work, and I'm not shitting on it, but he did too much stalling in the last 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Like setting up his spots.
Yeah, that, or then he'd do the moonsault instead of trying to pin Sabu. He'd do the thing where he stands up and just starts laughing and shucking and jiving, and it's like, but now really. Shouldn't you be, you know, you can obviously hear the announcer saying you've only got 4 minutes left. But yeah, I mean, and it's a minor complaint, no big deal. The match,
and then he would hit a big spot, and he would just like get up on his knees, and just kind of like sit there, like not even trying to go for a cover or nothing, just sit there, or like you said, stand up and just kind of like start chuckling, like go for the cover, man. At least try. What do I know?
But yeah, the match, like we said, the match goes to a 30-minute time limit draw. Great match. And again, they gave it a lot of time for TV, which I was happy with, that we got to see a lot of the match. And then they showed us a clip, excuse me, afterwards of the crowd giving Sabu a standing ovation at the ECW arena. Do you think that was natural? Or do you think the announcer said, "Can we get a standing ovation for Sabu"?
Nah, they would. They don't. They never did that.
Okay. Just checking.
Because if they would have told the crowd to do it, they probably wouldn't have
fucking shit on them. They would have fucking.
Yeah, they would. They would have told them to do it. They wouldn't have done it.
Cups full of piss flying all over the arena.
That would have been great though. The crowd just started shitting on them because I've never heard them do that before. Not at least when I've been there. So yeah, not that I like, especially when you talk about like the like line cross or whatever, like the 3-way or whatever. Wasn't that like a fucking draw too?
Yeah,
yeah, they would an hour.
An hour, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think they've ever done that. But it was a good match, man. I mean, they did some stuff. Scorpio hit a bunch of his stuff. Sabu hit a bunch of his stuff. But like we've been talking about, they just kind of like almost stooged it off. There was going to be a time limit draw from their lack of pinfalls, and then the countdown of the clock. They kind of stooged everything off. Well, it was still a hell of a match, though.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. So now we kind of roll into the ending part of the show with our collection of promos and such. And that starts out with a Pitbull's promo.
Oh, boy. Yeah. With the classic line, whatever we did to get it, just imagine what we'll do to keep them. Yeah, that's pretty original. It's too bad they ain't with us anymore. Rest in peace, Gary.
I'm sure he is napping right now.
Hell, for all we know, he could be dead by now. Nobody just knew about it yet. They weren't got out.
I was gonna say I haven't been on the internet in a few hours. Could have happened.
Yeah, I haven't had internet the last couple of days, so I ain't seen nothing either. Yeah, we better check on him after the show. Any of our listeners out there have any information on if Pitbull Gary's still alive? Let us know. Or what Walmart he's working at.
Aaron, your thoughts on the promo?
It is what it is. I mean, I don't think Pitbull 2 should talk. Like, he's a scary fucking individual, but his voice doesn't match the look of him. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
And he looks like, and I know he's a bad dude. He looks like a bad dude, but it's kind of like, yeah, his voice just does. I think he should be a guy that just, I think he's better if he doesn't talk. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah, just be the menacing guy in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just growl.
Pretty much.
Do the independent wrestling growl.
Just let Gary Wolf cut a shitty. Yeah, just let Gary Wolf cut a shitty promo, and then you stand there and look imposing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cookie cutter.
But the gimmick they got going into this big ass Extreme Bash thing is that they were supposed to get 2 title shots, but they only need 1 because they want to end up fighting the Bruise Brothers because the Bruise Brothers turned on Tommy, so now they want to get revenge for Tommy. So that's the gimmick going into the show.
Oh, see, I didn't really catch that, honestly. But I did see where they showed the brothers posting Tommy's balls gimmick. I did see that. I can't believe they were still there. Or were they gone by then, really?
The Bruise Brothers?
They were gone, but then they came back and turned on Tommy, and now they're with Raven.
But they didn't stick around long then, did they?
I'm not sure how long they are after that, but I mean they're back with Vince by 97, so
there wasn't too much longer they were there then. Figure this is March. When was the show probably taped? What, February? So yeah, they weren't there that much longer.
The next thing we see on the show, I actually laughed at something on this. It's
BWO.
It's Stevie and Meanie, doing the Fabs thing, and they're strutting all that. Which whatever, I'm over that already. But I gotta admit, I did laugh at Blue Meanie saying "Dookie." That did make me laugh.
Yeah, and then he runs into the wall.
I'm a fucking child. Like he said "Dookie."
The fucking BWO.
Well, how DW wants Bubba to teach Blue Meanie how to dance and Stevie John's DW into paying him for Bubba to teach Blue Meanie how to dance.
I can't believe DW is still there.
Yeah. I thought he was gone.
There was a lot of guys that I couldn't believe had just still hanging around for whatever reason. I don't, because I know I haven't done a show with you guys in a while, so I haven't really been watching it. But I'm like, these guys are still there.
I watch some of this stuff that they do, some of these things that they do in like backstage, or that they record backstage, or that they record in the hotel rooms or whatever. And I think to myself, as crazy as it is this just crazy, or is this cocaine fueled? Because some of this stuff is just like fucking wacky, like
cocaine or fucking somas.
Yeah, there have to be drugs in that room.
Yeah, a lot of somas going on in that locker room, dude. That I can tell you for sure.
Then Bubba and Meanie end up doing the Marx Brothers mirror routine.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Fun.
Yeah, that was stupid. Oh, Bubba. Good Lord. He looks pretty good now. Have you seen him? Have you seen him recently?
Yeah.
He's in good shape.
He's in the best shape of his life, I think.
Yeah, and he's pretty much my age. And he finally got himself together at 50. That'd be like me starting to go to the gym now. For what?
If I never see it, and if I never see a naked Brian Pillman sitting on a white leather couch again, I'll be happy.
I didn't realize he was naked at first. I thought I didn't really catch it. But then I'm like, yeah, he is fucking naked. With his legs crossed. Why
are you naked? Why are you naked on a leather couch?
I was like, are they gonna start playing? Are they gonna start playing the crying game? What's going on here?
Was that the end of it?
You're a man. If you're a man, you never sit naked on anything leather. It's just not a good idea.
Or vinyl.
Yeah. I don't even think he put a towel down. Like this.
Yeah, I was just watching an episode of Three's Company the other day where they were playing strip poker. And Larry made a comment about next time we decide to play strip poker, Mr. Furley, can you not use vinyl chairs? That's what I thought of with Pillman sitting there on that sofa naked. It's gonna make a funny sound when he gets up, like his butt's sticking to it. Old sweaty butt.
Like it's gonna be like an outline, just like his dick and balls.
It's like two half moons and a big line going down the middle.
Hey, look, it's the loose cannon. All right.
The loose stool cannon. Yeah, that was not the greatest look for Pillman.
No, I did not enjoy that. I was like, this is my least favorite Brian Pillman promo ever.
It's awkward. Like, I have to watch this. I have to watch this.
I don't even know. I don't even remember what he said.
I have to watch this shiny man on a shiny sofa naked.
I was just gonna say that, Aaron. I don't remember. I couldn't remember a word he said either.
I don't know what you said, man. I'm distracted.
Naked man on a leather sofa.
When you get up, it's gonna be like.
Oh, if only he would have gotten up. or repositioned himself, and you hear the butt coming off the seat.
Right.
That's the only
I wonder
thing
if anybody else noticed
that. That's the only thing that made me believe this is actually probably his house. Because if he would have brought that up at any other dude's house, it would have been like, "You want to do what? You are not."
You are not. Yeah, you are not putting your naked yam bag on my sofa.
My goddamn leather sofa.
My expensive ass leather sofa.
I don't even let the cat sit on it.
It's sweaty ass.
Yeah.
Good night, Irene. Was that the end of the show?
Yep.
To me, it was
they could have been showing me 10 more minutes of Sabu and fucking Scorpio, and I wouldn't have remembered that because I couldn't get the image of Pillman out of my mind, naked on a leather sofa. What's the matter with you? I'm yelling at my phone.
Why did I just go blind?
What are you doing, Pillman? Nobody at my house, and then you hear me yelling at the phone. Like, you're naked on a leather sofa. What's the matter with you? I wonder how the cameraman felt.
Yeah, he's like, oh man.
Knocks on his door, like, come on in. They're like, yeah, all right, well, welcome to my house. Okay.
He's like, you could have at least put a sock on it.
Yeah, do you want me to give you a couple minutes to get ready or anything, Mr. Pillman? No, I'm ready. Oh, okay. I guess we'll start when you're ready. Classic. But was that the end of the show?
That was the end of the show. They signed off with a naked Brian Pillman.
Oh, you got JT, the Eliminators, then Taz and Bill Alfonso, but that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Dude, I can't get enough. I cannot get enough of that when they total eliminated Francine. God damn. Did they kill her with that thing? Because she's small and and thin and frail enough as it was, but when they hit that on her, dude, and they replayed it, I'm just like, God, they murdered her with that total elimination, man. Because I didn't like taking it. I can only imagine how it felt for her. Because they gave it to me. I didn't feel a thing, but I wasn't looking forward to taking it, put it that way.
Right.
Like when we were going over it and stuff, I'm thinking like, oh, I got to take this goddamn finish. And like, I know they're going to murder me. But no, I didn't feel a thing. But she had to have.
Yeah, and like you said, it looks super effective because of her size compared to their size. And I'm sure they took it a little bit easy on her, but you have to make it look convincing. It's
hard to take it easy.
It's not a big building, it's not an easy crowd to pull the wool over their eyes.
I mean, it's not that easy of a move to take light. I don't understand. Like, how I don't know. I mean, I'd probably, if I did it enough at a school and worked on it, probably. But yeah, off the top of my head, I'm like, I don't know how it's going to be a light finish. It doesn't seem like it's going to be.
So overall, I actually gave this episode of the show, I gave this episode an A. I didn't give it an A+ because Brian Pillman was naked. But as far as the match, obviously the match quality was a great match, so I can't complain about that. The promos were fine, but most of the show was the match, and the match was great, so I had to give it an A.
Yeah, I'm down with giving it a solid B+ easily. I'm a little rougher on it than you guys are, but still a B+ for me is pretty good, considering what I usually give the stuff. What about you, Aaron?
I give it a B for balls.
I guess so. Yeah, there you go. Brian's balls.
We give it a T for taint. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a solid show. I enjoy. I mean, the match spoke for itself. That was just a good enough match right there.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the match was great and everything, and the most of the Pulp Fiction was entertaining. The other problem was maybe if they wouldn't have panned like up him, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. I don't know. But I'm just like, I don't like this at all.
What, Pillman?
Yeah. It's like, I don't like it.
That may have been the reason why I didn't give it an A. Having to even know that he was naked on a leather sofa. Like you said, it wasn't going to be on my sofa either.
Yeah, it's too dangerous. Like, what if you sneeze?
Oh. Yeah. What if you let one rip?
Or you think it's gonna be just a little toot toot. It's a little scoop scoop.
Yeah. Yeah. Have him get up and there'd be a little brown spot on the sofa. Oh, sorry, guys.
Over. Sorry about that.
You see the cameraman come in with a rag.
He's like, "Don't worry, I was a fluffer. I know what I'm doing."
Well, being a fluffer and being a fucking shit wiper upper are two different things.
Yeah.
Kind of.
There's between that and a scat man.
Is that a job now?
Scat man.
Like a gaffer, key grip.
Scat man.
Scat man. That's classic.
Oh.
Scat man.
Time to go. Time to go.
They show all the credits at the end of it. They show the credits at the end of it.
Was the scat man Rob Feinstein?
Oh,
probably. One of his boys. Rob, we need somebody to clean up some fucking poopy. I ain't doing it. Could you get one of your kids?
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.